All right, guys, now we're going to talk about the way that women reject men. So, I'm sure you guys have, just like me, seen a million different ways of getting rejected. I mean, I know that I've been rejected 100 million different ways, you know? It seems like every time I turn around, I'm getting rejected by some girl, right? So, after all these rejections and things, what I've started to notice is there's a common way that a girl rejects a guy. Now, what is a girl doing? She's trying to find a way to screen guys out, right? And she's trying to screen these guys out effectively so she can figure out who's the most attractive. Or since we just talked about dominance being attractive to women, she's also finding who the most dominant guy is. Okay, so her screening mechanism is going to filter out dominant guys from submissive guys. Okay, now since a woman is not going to be like physically dominant to a man most of the time, she needs a different mechanism for dominance, a different way to proclaim kind of dominance over a guy so that he knows, you know, if he kind of loses and becomes submissive, like he knows that he's been dominated. So the way that women generally do this most effectively is by using social dominance. So, you know, you're talking to a woman and she'll find some things to say or do that will demonstrate social dominance over you. You'll feel, if you're most guys, you'll feel submissive, and if you take on, you know, if you feel submissive, that's one thing, but if you show submissiveness, that's a second thing. That's a worse thing, obviously. So when a woman socially dominates you, then you will feel like, oh, I didn't really deserve that girl anyway. And then this girl has, her job is done because she's found out that you're not the most dominant guy socially, which likely will bleed into other areas. In other words, if you're not socially dominant, you're probably not dominant in a lot of other areas. So in this manner, women filter out guys who aren't socially dominant. All right, so social dominance is the way that girls do things, and that's how they filter guys out. So you are going to be engaged in a conversation, and a girl is going to engage in a, you know, kind of jockeying or jostling or angling for dominance with you via the words that you guys have. So in the past, you guys might be familiar with a term called shit tests, or what the community calls a shit test. So what a shit test is you're talking with a girl and all of a sudden she says something like, you know, well, your shirt's weird, or why would you say that, or you don't say those things to girls, or you know, she's going to test you in some way. And what that's doing, you know, the community thinks that you can just say, well, if she says this, then you say this, and then you'll win. And that's a little bit short-sighted, because what the girl's really doing is she's taking the first step in a series of steps that will prove her dominance socially over you. Now, why is she going to win a lot? Because this girl's been getting hit on since she was like, you know, very, very young, you know, prepubescent even. Girls are getting hit on by men, and you know, men are constantly looking for social opportunities and sexual opportunities with girls, right? So this girl has been kind of approached and forced to learn a mechanism to screen guys out since she was very young. So you might be starting right now yourself, and you might be starting to talk to women and learning this stuff, but she's been learning it. If she's 21, she's maybe been learning it for 5 to 10 years already. So she's got a big jump on you. That's why this practice is so important. And that's why you have to understand first that a woman's rejection mechanism is social dominance. When you understand that her rejection mechanism is social dominance, then you know how to focus your practice. I can focus in on, okay, I'm aware of what the girl's going to do. She's going to try to socially dominate me. And then you can first start your practice of saying like, okay, I'm ready for that. Is it coming? Is it coming? Is it coming? And then when you see it, you go, there's her social dominance mechanism. And then you can start to practice how that goes. I hope that makes a lot of sense to you, because it's a really important concept. That is a woman's screening mechanism. So if you can learn that mechanism and find a way to practice it, and wouldn't you know it, I'm going to give you guys that right here, then you can get really good at, you know, countering, you know, seeing these things as they come, and it'll look like, you know, after a while it'll look like slow-pitch softball to you, and you'll see these things, you know, these slow-pitch softballs coming at you, and you can just knock them right out of the park. I'm going to teach you guys how to be really good at this stuff, so buckle your seatbelts, man. Here we go. I'm going to teach you guys how to beat a woman's rejection mechanism. And we're going to start by first talking about some attractive stuff, and a little bit later when I get to the advanced stuff, then we're going to talk about really, beating her, rejection mechanism with all you got.